Hi guys, it's Amy GablesStitcher here with a stitching update video. Today is April 27th, 2021, and it has been a really long time since I have sat in this chair to share my stitching with all of you. I have a lot to show you. I have two finishes. I have a pile of whips. I have a few projects I plan on working on the next couple of weeks. I have an amazing gift of stitchy kindness that I want to share with all of you. And I was able to visit two local needle workshops that are not local to me. So small, independent, not so local needle workshops. I don't think there's an acronym for that one. So non-local needle workshops. Sounds good, right? It's also nighttime. I have never filmed at nighttime before, so I might be a little bit punchy, and there might be an occasional child scream because the family's watching hockey in the other room. So we'll see what happens. Also, I'm using my ring light so that everybody can see the stitching. I tried filming without my ring light and it was Flosstube by Braille. So ring light it is, and I apologize for the reflection in my glasses because there really wasn't much I could do about that. Let's get started. Let's start with finishes. So two finishes. These are my first two finishes of the year. Normally I have more finishes than that, but this year I've been stitching on bigger projects, so it's fine. You know, stitching's a hobby, finishes are nice, and I'm really happy about these. So this is my big finish so far of 2021. Doesn't look very big, does it? But it is. This is the 2020 I Stitch Burgundy Stitch Along. It's a banding stitch along. I'll put the link for the Facebook group down below. This was a stitch along I started last year in 2020, and I didn't finish until this year because I did not keep up with it. So this is a finished finish. It is not a fully finished object because I need to hem stitch the bottom. But I am going to unroll this and show it to you. This was stitched on 28 count banding over one with one strand of DMC. I think I used 815. Is it 815 or 816? Whichever one is the more cranberry of the two. So once a week I received an email with about like 3 rows of stitching for the year. And if you kept up with it during the year, which I didn't, by November you would have had a lovely finished banding sampler. And there's the bottom of it. So to fully finish it, I purchased this wooden spool. I need to stitch it onto the spool and then do the hem stitch on the bottom. So right now it's just wrapped up around here. So let's roll it back up so you can see it. So this was a lot of fun. It's a lot of over one, but because you're not doing a lot at once, and most of it is letters and it's all letters and borders. It was a lot of fun. The only parts that were a little time consuming and dicey were the Assisi stitching, which is a reverse stitching, but they were a lot of fun to do too. I mean, it's beautiful, just very time intensive. So there we go. I thought about putting my name on the bottom, but after I stitched the XYZ, I was like, XYZ, we're done. So I think that might be it. So like I said, I'll hem stitch it, and then I plan on getting a nice ribbon to match the DMC and tying it up and putting it like in a bowl to display, because I'm doing the 2021 stitch along as well. So theoretically next year I will have 2 of them to display. So it'll be like that. So that was a lot of fun. I was very happy to finish it. So I only have one band sampler going right now. And I will link the group, the Facebook group below. It's called I Stitch I want to say it's called iStitch Band Samplers. I'm not sure. But, and the directions to purchase it, if you would like, are in that group. Finish number 1. Finish number 2, I am going to show you, and this is part of what made me film tonight, is I am going away with a few of the Frugal Yankees this weekend. Frugal Yankees are a group of cross stitchers in New England, and about 10 of us are getting together this weekend, and we're having a smalls exchange. So to participate in a smalls exchange, one needs to have a small. So I started and finished this. I think the new acronym going around for that is SNAF, start and finish. SAF, that's what it is, SAF, start and finish. So I started it and finished it without putting it down and working on anything else. So if you are one of the other 9 people and you don't want to see it, look away right now. I took it out of this book here, which is a old Blackbird Designs book with needle and thread. This is very out of print. I'm hoping that they might reprint this one because it's really good. And they've been reprinting a bunch of their older stuff. So this is the project I chose. This is called Bluebirds, Needles and Pins. If you could find this copy secondhand without paying an asinine amount for it, I want to say it's like 8 projects in it. Some really, really good ones. It's definitely worth a pickup. So, and I'll do a flip through at a later date. So here is the finish. So I think it came out nice, little pillow. I used Color and Cotton fabric. I had picked up a couple of their linen grab bags about a month ago when they had them for about 60 seconds on their website. I managed to grab some. I think the linen is a 28 count linen. I also used some Color and Cotton floss that I had, and a few DMCs. I really like how it came out. There are some specialties such as some eyelets there. I finished it into a pillow using some Lady Dot Creates chenille trim. And I used some fabric, some red fabric on the back. And this is, like I said, this is the very first pillow I've ever made. I have a not so healthy fear of my sewing machine. And this year I decided that it's ridiculous. I'm an adult. I can learn to sew. So I pulled it out. I read the manual. I watched some YouTube videos and I made a pillow. So hopefully many more pillows to come. It is a bit wonky, but like I said, it's my first pillow. And I did the method where you sew it all and then you snip a little hole in the back and you patch it. So I patched it with the name of where we're going and the date on linen. So there it is. So I'm excited that I know how to make pillows now. So my mind is turning with all the pillows I can make, because I had never finished a pillow before and it worked out great. So hopefully whoever gets it will like it, and I'm going to throw a few other stitchy goodies in the bag and it should be a good time. There is actually going to be a large Frugal Yankee gathering in November. I will also put the link for that Facebook group down below. Lynette from Homesteading on the Homefront is running that. It is at a farm in Keene, New Hampshire called East Hill Farm. And it's actually a working farm that holds like retreats. So you can go pick eggs and go hiking. It's right at the base of Mount Monadnock. It's gorgeous there. It's called Frugal because it's not a planned retreat, as in there's no door prizes, there's no retreat fee. It's just you pay for the facility, which is your lodging and meals, and then you can sit and stitch. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's November, so we should be good. And I think there are still spots available. I will put the link to that Facebook group with the information in it below. So 2 finishes. I also decided to stop working on a project, to what we call UFO the project. UFO as in not throwing it into outer space, so it's an unidentified flying object, but UFO as it's going to be an unfinished object. I was looking at my WIP list, and there was a sampler on there that I know I will never finish. So I pulled it off. I actually couldn't even find the chart to show you the chart, but I'll show you what I have in the sampler. This is the Botany Bay Sampler by... It's the same people who do the Linen and Threads stitch-alongs. An Australian company. I can't think of the name right now. But Botany Bay, it is an Australian sampler. I was so excited about stitching this. But when I started stitching it, I didn't love it. And I know I will never finish it because I have no desire to go back to it. And I wasn't enjoying it. So I do have quite a bit done. A lot of it's straight line stitching though. So I will frog this out. I will pull out the stitches and reuse the fabric. So beautiful piece of fabric. Being realistic, if it's a large sampler and I don't love it, I know I'm not going to finish it. So that is another WIP, work in progress, out of the rotation. I am down to 39 projects. I know no one else cares besides me, but I would like to stay on 40 now. So it means I need to finish one more thing before I start anything. That could change because plans are made to be changed, but that's kind of where I am. I love all my projects. Obviously, I don't love this one, which is why it's no longer a project, but I love all my projects and I want to be able to work on all of them. And to be able to do that, I think I need to have fewer projects. So right now I am feeling the need to cut down my number of projects, and I might decide not to finish a few more. If I do, I'll let you know. But my plan is to try to finish more. So we'll see how that goes. All right, next project. That's it for finishes. Hopefully more this year. A few WIPs. Not as many WIPs as you would think because I have been working on larger projects and spending more time on them. So I showed you the 2020 burgundy banding sampler. I am doing the one for this year. The 2021 is called the jade sampler. So I was working on that. Let me show you what I have. It's on the scroll rods right now. So I'm just gonna go up like this. And this is what I have so far. I am stitching this with a DMC as well. I didn't bring the bag over, so I don't know which number it is. I want to say it's in the 600 range. 700 range. I think the color is actually dark jade. So that's where we are. So really, really pretty. I'm actually finding the sampler is stitching up a little bit faster than the burgundy one. And I think because this one has that border, so the inside part is actually less and the border stitches really quickly. Regardless, I love it. I really do love it. However, I am behind again. I am 4 weeks behind. So we don't end up with this sampler carrying over to 2022, I need to catch up. So that is one of my plans for May. Get into a little bit of planning while I'm showing you the WIPs because there is some crossover. So my plan is to catch up on this. I actually don't like doing 1 week at a time because I feel like I get into the groove and then I'm done. But I need to be better about doing it once I just have 2 weeks, because 2 weeks is about the perfect number. And once I get past that, like, I don't really want to do 3. So like I said, right now I'm 4 weeks behind, so time to catch up. My pile's over here. All right. Now we're gonna put that back over here. Next project. This one I've worked on a little bit. This is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studio. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been saying Lila's for years. Well, my friend Abby, who is Abby Bella Stitch here on Flosstube and Instagram, is hosting a stitch along called #StitchAsia for us to appreciate and celebrate Asian designs and Asian designers. And Lila of Lila Studio is an Asian designer, so this qualifies for Stitch Asia. So she was talking with her and asked her how she's pronounced her name, and she said Lila. And I don't know about Abby, but I was mortified because I've been saying Lila forever. Lila. It is Lila. She has beautiful designs. I have many of them. I have finished one of them. This one's not a finish yet, but it is a whip. So this is stitched on 40 count Murky by Picture This Plus, which is the called for fabric. There is a group hosted by Stitch Along, hosted by Michelle Bendy. Oh, I'm showing you the back of it. You can't see anything for this project that I am participating in as well. So 40 count Murky with all the called for fibers. And here's where I am now. So I love how this looks. I hate stitching on this fabric. I don't hate the project. I don't like stitching on the fabric. I am finding it very difficult to see the holes in 40 count Murky. I do like Murky. I think I will stitch on Murky again, but it will be a 32 count or it will be an Ada. So since the last time you saw it, I finished this motif here, did this, the hat, I started this motif here. I do have a problem with this. I made a mistake. All of this placement is off. So this should be closer to here. When I was putting the bats in, I put the bats in wrong. So I started with the witch, and this bat here is supposed to be over the witch's head. So all of this is supposed to be further over. I'm not changing it. It's fine. I might throw an extra bat or two in. It'll be a little bit bigger, a little bit wider than what it should be, but I can fit it on. So, but for disclosure, I'm letting you know that I made a mistake and I'm not changing it. Love how it looks. Do enjoy stitching on it. I just am not enjoying the 40 count Murky. Picture This Plus tends to have a tighter weave of fabric. So that 40 count is often more like a 42 count. And I can stitch on 46 count without too much of a problem. I think the problem with the Murky is that the color changes so much throughout the fabric that my eyes have a hard time adjusting to it. So this will be my one and only project on 40 count Murky. After that, it'll be 32 count. All right. 2 more whips. Like I said, not as many whips as you would think. I may have worked on something else. I don't remember, but 2 whips. So this one, hold like this so they don't have too much glare. This is Sampler 1830 by Permanent Copenhagen. This is the project that I have been calling my green blanket for many, many years. This is one of my oldest projects. Been working on it since it's a pre-2010 project. So my goal is to finish this project this year. I pulled it off the Q-snap. I did not iron it. I am stitching this on 32 count Belfast linen. I think the color might be mocha. I'm not sure. Every time I come on here, I have a different guess to what the fabric is. So I'm going to hold it up to show you what I did this past time, and then I'll hold up the whole project. I worked on this for a couple of weeks in April. April was a interesting month here. My family is fine, my immediate family, but we had some things happening with some family and friends who are close to us that, you know, affected us. And so there were actually, I want to say I had like 4 days I didn't stitch in the month of April. And it's really unusual for me to have 4 days in a whole month where I don't stitch. So this was, I worked on quite a bit in April. So I did all of this part here. And this motif is not done. I just pulled off the Q-snap because I wanted to show it for the video. So this is stitched with DMC 934, 2 strands. Let me hold up the whole project for you now. I don't know if I can get it all in. I can't see anything. So here's the top part. So pretty soon, I'm not gonna be able to fit it in at all. There we go. It's big. This is why it's hashtag Amy's Green Blanket. I do love this. I would like to finish it, as I said, this year. My original plan was to do a Monogomania during the month of May. My plan was to work on this project and this project only. I have decided not to do that because I know I will burn out and I will not enjoy it, and I'll put it down and probably not work on it for the rest of the year. As I said, there were like 4 days in the month of April I didn't stitch. I want to stitch every day in May, but it doesn't necessarily need to be on the permanent sampler. I am going to really try. My goal for May is 30 minutes a day on the permanent sampler, and hopefully that going forward. I am well past the halfway point on that, and as I said, I would really like to have that finished. So, but no Monogomania. My last whip to show you that I've been working on is Modern Folk Embroidery, the Fruit of Plenty stitch along. This is the 2021 stitch along. It is in black and white because that's my printer, but it's a choose your own color. I am using 2 shades of blue. One of the reasons I do not have a ton of whips to show you is because this is a lot of stitching. And up until this month, I have done very well keeping up with it. I am using, my floss is right here. I am using 932 for my light color and 3750 is my dark blue. I love silks, stitching with silks. I love stitching with cotton over dyes, but you can make gorgeous projects with DMC. Every project except for the Halloween Quaker that I've shown you and the little pillows. So my big whips here are all DMC and they are gorgeous. So use what you have. Piece of floss. All right, so this is still in the Q-snap because I am still working on April. This is what I have thus far. So going across the top is complete. The first 3 rows, first 3 months. And then coming down here, this is April. This is what I'm working on right now, why I still have it on the Q-snap. So it comes down to about here and over to right here. So I likely will not finish this in the next couple of days. That's fine. Once I get the May part on May 1st, I'm going to continue right into May. This is stitched on a 40 count linen using 1 strand of floss. It is a Zweigart linen called Alabaster. So it's just a stock linen, it's not a hand dyed, but it's really pretty. Really enjoying working on this. It is a lot of stitching, but I love every stitch. So it's been a joy, and 4 months in and I'm pretty much staying caught up. So that is a bonus. And I really do plan on staying caught up with that this year. What do I plan on working on the next couple of weeks? So definitely, like I said, I am 4 weeks behind on the Jade band sampler. I would like to catch up on that. My goal is to be no more than 2 weeks behind. So be working on that. I plan on giving the Permin of Copenhagen, my green blanket, giving that 30 minutes a day through the month of May to get some more good progress on that. Working on it solely for 21 days would not happen. So 30 minutes a day, and that will make me happy, and I will get some good progress on that. I plan on finishing the April part of the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along and the May part. I mentioned that I am going to get together with some of the Frugal Yankees this weekend. So I need some nice fill-in projects too, because I will be doing a lot of chatting and not so much stitching. So I am pulling out my Christmas in Nantucket houses. These are from Hemlock and Rye Stitchery, which is designed by my friend Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. I am going to do the skeleton of the top part of this house, the windows and the roof line. So I will have a bunch of fill in there. There are 3 Nantucket houses. My center one is done. It's the first one, and then there'll be one more that goes over here. Julie just released some springtime in Williamsburg houses that are gorgeous. I will link her video below where she shows them. She released them like 3 or 4 days ago, and the link on how to get them. So this is one thing I am going to work on this weekend. This is on 40 count Country Mocha linen, which is this wire linen that's printed. So this side has some modeling and the back side is just one color. And it's with a combination of DMC and Weeks Dye Work floss. It's the called for. My piles. They're still standing, but barely. Hopefully we don't have something fall down. First time I tried to film this, when I was showing that little pillow I made, I threw it by mistake. I was holding on to it and it went phew. So I had to start filming again. Another project I want to work on. This is Mirabilia's Halloween Fairy. This is a kit. It's available again. It was out of print for a while, but it is available on 123, and I'm sure any other distributor that uses Hoffman's. I am not stitching it on the called for fabric. I am stitching it on an even weave. I believe it's 28 count, and it's an opalescent. Might be able to see some of the shimmer. So the bottom is all done, and there are some big wings here. And the wings are mostly fill-in. It's all one color. So the edges aren't, but the inside is. So I plan on working on this as well. I would love to finish this by Halloween and have it hanging. I think I already have a frame for her too. Other than the wings, I don't have a lot left on that. And my last project I plan on working on After working on that Blackbird pillow, that was so much fun to work on. I love Blackbird, but I really don't want to start a new project because I have 39 whips and I don't want to go about 40. So let's go to the whip pile, and I pulled out Quaker Garden. Once again, I'm sorry, this is an out of print chart. I've had it forever, so it's time I stitched it. This is a whip. I've started it, and I have hemmed and hawed about this for a long time. Let me show you what I have. And I'm sure you're gonna say, Amy, it looks gorgeous. It does, but I hate this fabric. Like, I hate the fabric it's on. I hate working on it because I hate the fabric. Unlike the Halloween Quaker, that I don't like working on the murky, but I love how it looks. I hate how this looks because I hate this fabric so much. It's a Weeks Dye Works 30 count. So it's the called for fabrics, the called for floss. So I went stash diving. I'm about the halfway point, and I was like, if I do it on 40 count, I think I could restart it and still have enough floss to finish it. So I went into my stash and I pulled out this piece of 40 count Valor from Picture This Plus. I think I'm going to restart this on the Valor because I like this fabric much better. It feels better. I like the color much better. Like, the green never photographs well, but this is pretty close. I mean, this is like a swamp green is the best way I can explain the color. Like, it's not really a pretty green. It's a swamp green. This is a much prettier green, and the fibers look good on it. So I think I might restart it because I need to be happy with the finished product. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm crazy, it's okay. Tell me, Amy, you're nuts, just finish it. I mean, I think I'll do something with what I have, like make a sewing book or something, but I think I need to stitch it on this and have it hanging on my wall. Let me know. Let me know if you think that, yes, do it, it makes you happy, or you're nuts, just finish it. I may or may not listen, but I'm just curious to know what everybody else is thinking. So that is those are my plans for the next couple of weeks. Stitchy kindness. So I received a birthday gift a couple of weeks ago in the mail. My birthday is in July, but that's okay because this was gifted with such love. This is from my friend Julie, Kansas City girl, Colorado World. She stitched this for me. Isn't this pretty? So Salem Witch Trials. It's a nice stand-up. She dyed the linen. She dyed the floss. She made the stand-up. I love it. So I have a spring cross-stitch display on our mantle right now in our living room by our fireplace, and I have this with it because I love it so much I couldn't put it away. So thank you so much, Julie. She had it stitched forever, but you know what it's like going to the post office right now during the pandemic. Although I do feel like we're kind of getting out of the pandemic a little bit. So she just waited a long time to send it, and I love it. And she also made for me a book sleeve, an Outlander book sleeve, and she put all types of goodies in it. I'm just going to show you a couple. So she put in a needle minder, Never Trust the Living. She put me in a keychain of the Salem Witch House. And she put some patterns in here. Let me show you one. Last year I was like, I'm gonna buy this. This is a Chessimi kit that was a market exclusive. And she's like, you don't need it. You have so much stuff with sheep on it. It's because she bought it for me. So thank you, Julie. I love it. She also made book sleeves for my girls in their Hogwarts houses. So very thoughtful gift. Thank you so much. I love it. And now I can use the goodies because I showed them on Flosstube. So I'm going to link her channel below because she's also the one who did those Nantucket houses. And like I said, she just released the Williamsburg houses. So I'll put her latest video below. I'm probably talking really fast because it's 35 minutes and I just showed you a lot of stuff. So let's finish. Last bit. So I alluded to the fact that I went to 2 local needlework shops that were not local, which means I must have traveled. My husband grew up in Pennsylvania and his dad still lives there. His stepmother did as well. Unfortunately, she passed away in November. And we had not been down to see his dad because of the pandemic. And the adults are all fully vaccinated now. And his dad wanted us to come down and visit and help him with the house. So we just had spring break. And we were able to go down to Pennsylvania to help his father clean out his house, do some stuff around the house, visit. The kids hadn't seen grandpa in, you know, almost 18 months, and do some college touring for my oldest because my oldest is going to college in a little over a year, which is scary. While we were there, I said, see if there's any shops. So outside of Philadelphia, there is Strawberry Sampler. And after we went to go visit a college, went to Strawberry Sampler and I picked up a couple of charts. So a small local needlework shop, just not local to me. So I'd never been to Strawberry Sampler before. They just moved in January and they have a really cute shop. They have gorgeous models in there. And I had a really nice time chatting with the people in the shop. So I picked up 2 charts. Renato Parolin. They had quite a few charts by this designer. It's an Italian designer, and I am butchering the name, which is really bad because I am Italian. And I saw this chart and I just loved it. These flowers are gorgeous. So by that chart, Primavera e Didurani. Like I said, I'm Italian and I don't speak it. Gorgeous. And then one other, oh, excuse me, I got 3 charts there. The other one I got, this had been on my list from Needlework Expo. It's a JBW Designs. It is a collection of antique red samplers. There's 5 little red samplers in this pack. 5. This is one of those Market Expo releases that kind of like went by and I didn't notice it until afterwards. And I was like, this is a great design. How do I not notice it? So these are, all right, let me pull it out because you're not gonna see it because of the glare. There's 5 samplers on here. And the one that really caught my eye that I want to do, there is a Greek sampler. So this one right here is a Greek sampler. But I've been really feeling the red samplers recently, probably because I just finished my burgundy banding sampler. I just did 100 centimeters of red sampler stitching and I kind of miss it, but I really, really like this. So this is JBW, a collection of antique red samplers. None of them are big. They're all pretty small, but I was really happy they had that because, like I said, it was one of those market releases that, expo releases that I didn't notice initially, and then when I saw it afterwards, it was sold out everywhere. And the last one, I said they had great models, because when I was checking out, there's a model on the wall that just kept catching my eye, and I didn't know what it was. So I asked them, and they said, oh, that is this. It is Sarah Platt by Pineberry Lane. It is a little sweet sampler, and it's little. It is, oh, is the stitch count on this? I thought it was. Oh, it is. Here it is. 102 by 151. So it's not big. But it was stitched on a very dark linen. It was stitched on doubloon in the model, and it was gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I had to pick that up. I'm getting a little bit punchy because, like I said, it's night. Never filmed at night before. A bit punchy. All right, so that was Strawberry Sampler. On the way home from Pennsylvania, I drive through New Jersey. New Jersey, home of Needleworker's Delight and Silk Weaver fabric. So I needed to stop. Luckily, we had taken 2 cars, and so family went home, and I stopped and visited at Silk Weavers and went shopping. I got a few odds and ends, a couple of pieces of neutral fabric. They have like little baskets of like scrap fabrics that they, you know, measure and put in like fat, you know, 16ths and whatever ornament cuts. So I got some of those, a few flosses that I needed. And then I got this. This is a Rosewood Manna chart. I saw somebody stitch this on one of the Facebook groups called Dreaming of Daisies, and I really liked it. I thought it was so pretty. And once again, I don't think the picture is necessarily the best on the cover because it's hard to see in that light fabric. And I think they had this model there. I was like, that's really pretty. And then I go over and I peruse the fabric. If you're ever in New Jersey, you need to go to Needleworker's Delight because it is just like fabric heaven. And I saw this blue fabric. This is a 32 count Belfast linen. Really pretty. It is, what color is it? Blue Whisper. And this is another one of those printed fabrics. So, and I said, you know what? The daisies on this blue fabric, it'd be really pretty. So I had to do it. So I am really jonesing for a new start because I just visited 2 amazing small local needle workshops, got a few charts that were screaming my name. Gorgeous piece of fabric. But I'm not starting something until I finish something else because I want to stay 39 or below. So let's get a finish and then let's start something. One thing about this chart, a lot of times Rosewood Manor uses DMC, and I didn't even think of it when I bought it, but this calls for week's dye work. So I can't start this right now, which is probably a good thing. So pretty. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for taking time to visit with me. This is going to be a no editing video. A lot of times I'll put pictures in of where things were before or cover sheets. No, I'm not today because it is very late and I want the video to get up rather than editing it. So it's hard for me. Excuse me, got a hair in my mouth from all of this. It's hard for me not to edit a video sometimes because I actually like doing it, but today is just going to go up. I do thank you for spending time with me. I will put the links in the description box below. It will likely take a day or so. So information for the Frugal Yankee, and links to the other groups that I talked about. Thank you so much. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope to see you all and talk with you all again soon. Thanks for visiting, guys. Bye.